Which brings us to the case of Chitezi Land Force. Has been a trending issue over the internet, where many Ugandans have lost their life in this carelessness way, which brings us to have a one-on-one talk with Council Kauma Mahat to see the legal part of this, how people can be helped and resolve this matter. Join me on this show. My name is Madrin. Welcome on this show.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Now, over the years, the amount of rubbish brought to the area kept on increasing, yet the landfill itself wasn't expanding, which led to many Ugandans to lose their life in such a careless way. That's why we came up with this show to ask you about the legal part, how can they be compensated, how the government should take this, and more.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to first of all greet the viewers. Hope everyone is well.
Yes.
The tragic incidents that took place in Chitezi was really absurd. It saddened everyone.
Exactly.
And I think the government of Uganda, you know, everybody has come out to condemn the government of Uganda, how they have been reckless and so on.
Exactly.
But I think moving forward, we should be looking at close to three things.
Yes.
One, how are we going to manage rubbish in the country?
Yes.
We should have funds allocated. We've heard that they had bought land in Mukono,
Yes.
but due to financial constraints, they couldn't solve the issue of land there. We have heard of the move to go to Entebbe, which is the cleanest city, but again, even with Entebbe, they failed to come up with arrangements where they agree to solve the issues of the rubbish. Even in Entebbe, because Entebbe will tell you, the mayor of Entebbe is saying they entered into a memorandum of understanding with the mayor of Katabi, but the place where they want to dump the rubbish is in Entebbe.
But I heard they have already started dumping the other rubbish.
Yes, of course. So you see, generally what we are seeing, that rubbish is a problem and it should be solved. Now, to be particular with Chitezi, I think the government by now must have got what they call adequate compensation. Adequate compensation for the families, the victims of the people who died in Chitezi, and also reallocation of the ones that are still there. Because you see, we have a tragic incident that has a risk of happening again. It can still happen again.
Those people are still around and the trash is still
definitely, and others are even still covered in the trash. For us legally, we look at the things in terms of law. When you look at the human rights that have been violated there, the right to life has been violated. Our constitution has a Bill of Rights, and to be more specific, under Article 22, everybody is guaranteed the right to life. Right to life can only be taken away in execution of a death sentence. So in the circumstances, the government failed in its mandate, because the role of government is to protect the citizens. Government, through its agencies like Kampala Capital City Authority, National Environment Authority, failed in its mandate to protect those citizens. And hence it violated their right to life. That is the essence of the compensation. You see, a lot of livestock, a lot of people, a lot of houses were covered. That is property. Much as people lost their lives, there are those who survived.
But don't.
Because the rubbish was now too much, the garbage, it flew over and covered them.
Exactly.
It encroached on their property and covered them, and they died. Government must compensate for all the properties that were covered in the what? In the rubbish or the garbage, for that matter. And then also, you see all these rights violated. There is a right to a clean and healthy environment.
Exactly.
All those. How, as government, how do you look at people living near this garbage, despite the living conditions? I can tell you, if you have been at Chitezi, you can't be there without a mask. But people are living under those miserable conditions, those few people, and we didn't take them as people to be protected. I think their right to a clean and healthy environment, which is also guaranteed by our national objectives. At the end of the day, the reason people pay taxes is that government can help them with those collective responsibilities that you cannot achieve as an individual. As an individual, you cannot construct a road. As an individual, you cannot move the rubbish to
Allocate it
yes, to
somewhere else.
reallocate it somewhere else. But government had that duty through, of course, its agencies, and it failed on that mandate. So,
Exactly.
in that regard, I largely think and believe that government should be able to provide adequate compensation. We are not talking about 5 million, you see. We are
Should
talking
build
about,
houses for them.
they should, yes, reallocate them and build for them houses.
Okay.
This is the obligation of government. You see, some of the things when we tell them to the people in power, they think it is to do with politics. But that is the law. You have Article 39 of the 1995 Constitution, which we agreed to be bound by, and it says that everybody has a right to live in a clean and healthy environment. NEMA has been very active in people you've seen people in wetlands.
Yes.
Where was NEMA here when it comes to Chitezi? So you see, if they want, if they can evict people, how about helping to solve this problem? So I think by that government has to pay.
Yes.
But there's also this part of criminal negligence. I think if we take it in terms of compensation and the monetary value,
Yes.
we shall not learn enough lessons. This time around, the DPP should go for people, individuals, to be taken to prison. Yes, because you see, when you commit a rash and negligent act like what happened in Chitezi, it is like a pharmaceutical company making medicines that can cause death.
Exactly.
That can cause
That's
death
really
in
bad.
one or the other. Because you look at a scenario where you have a child. You know, people can be taken for criminal negligence for failure to take their children to hospitals. How is this different? This is similar for you having your child falls sick, and you refuse to take your child to what? To hospital. So the police can charge you with that criminal negligence, rash and negligent act. I think it's around section 227 of the Penal Code Act.
Okay.
So even individuals at KCCA, you have the public director of public health saying that I wrote a letter to the executive director. I informed them of the tragedy. So government knew
Of what is going on.
yes that there was a time bomb in Chitezi.
But they only
Everybody knew. They didn't relocate the people in
just
time.
kept quiet.
Yes, because what do you do with such information? The scenario I've given you, the reason why a mother can be taken to prison for failure to take a daughter to hospital is because you knew the daughter was sick and you did nothing. So this neglect to do can become an offense. You have letters. There are letters that have been all over internet and on TV.
I've seen one.
These people have written. The director of public health executed his duty in one way or the other. Wrote that there is a time bomb in Chitezi. We should do something. You see,
They instead sent their ambulances. I heard it was one, and one truck which is used to remove the rubbish, but it wasn't useful.
But you see, you have reports that say they had to stop putting rubbish in Chitezi as early as 2005.
Till now.
2005. You have reports that Chitezi was supposed to be, they had to stop using it as early as 2005. In 2015, other reports came up that we have reached the maximum. I think that's why they bought land in Mukono. So when you reach a maximum, you know anytime you are going to have...
Anything can happen.
Yes. You see, there is something they did for these people in landslides. Much as they are taken to areas which they don't believe, some are taken to Karamoja, but they are shifted. You can shift a community. That because of the tragedy that is about to happen here,
you can allocate it to this place.
yes, you
For your own good.
reallocate them to another place for their own good. Of course, at your cost, at the government's cost. That one we didn't do. And the knowledge, so you have the negligence coming that they had a duty to protect them,
And
the omission to reallocate them or to do anything to protect them. Now when you come and you bring graders to look for bodies under the garbage,
it was only one.
and moreover it is only one, so you see,
So people ended up using their own tools like paws, their own hands, to make sure they remove the bodies.
yes, so this is not a case of only money compensation. It is a case of corruption.
Exactly.
There should be investigations by the IGG, Inspectorate of Government, to ascertain why do we say there are no funds. There should be investigations by DPP to ascertain who should be criminally liable for whatever is taking place. Those are the circumstances in Chitezi.
Okay. Thank you, Counsel, for that legal advice. We've added all. For more information, you can follow us on Chitauli's International